Business email compromise (BEC) is a type of email cybercrime scam in which an attacker targets a business to defraud the company. Business email compromise is a large and growing problem that targets organizations of all sizes across every industry around the world. BEC scams have exposed organizations to billions of dollars in potential losses. Our topic of discussion on the program today is business email compromise, how businesses are at risk. Glad to have you join us again on The Eagle. I am Aisha Muhammad.
We will declare our assets and we are going to investigate it. Whatever you own legitimately is yours. So we are going to send the asset declaration forms out very soon. Every one of us will declare our assets. And let's start with that.
Executive Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC), Ola Olukoyede, has said that anti-corruption fights should be premised on initiatives and modalities capable of stimulating economic growth and development in the overall interest of Nigerians. He stated this in Lagos while addressing officers of the Lagos Zonal Command of the EFCC. Here are details of his engagement with the Lagos Command staff.
According to the EFCC chairman, there is need to redirect focus towards what the commission was set up to do in Nigeria, which is to drive economic development. He stated that EFCC will tilt its focus towards the area and will work to drive economic development, create wealth and employment. Olukoyede pointed out that the era of winding down businesses by way of investigation is gone. He said that the EFCC will look into the mixed fund rules that separate proceeds of crime from legitimate money so as to allow businesses to grow. He stressed that the Commission, in line with its mandate, will make conscious efforts to redeem the image of the country in the global community.
The real essence of creating the EFCC is to drive economic development. And so we are going to tilt our focus towards that particular area. Gentlemen, the era of killing businesses by way of investigation is gone. We are not winding up businesses anymore, except if that particular business was specifically established to perpetrate fraud.
The EFCC chair further charged officers of the Commission to uphold the core values of the EFCC, which include integrity, courage, professionalism and collaboration in the discharge of their duties in order to justify their engagement, adding that the anti-corruption drive must open up atmosphere of accountability and transparency in the country. He tasked officers of the Commission to be above board, insisting that asset declaration is compulsory for every staff.
Civil society organizations CSOs in Oyo, Osun and Ekiti State have reiterated their support for the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) in the task of fighting economic and financial crimes and other acts of corruption. The civil society organizations made this commitment in Ibadan, Oyo State at the EFCC CSOs engagement program that held at the EFCC command in Ibadan. Abbas Abubakar Umar tells us more.
Executive Chairman of the EFCC, Ola Olukoyede, lauded the strategic role civil society organizations CSOs are playing in the fight against corruption, stating that the Commission's engagement with them was to share ideas on how to deepen the fight against corruption. The EFCC boss, who spoke through the Ibadan Zonal Commander Halima Mustafa Rufau, expressed appreciation to the CSOs for reviews and analysis of the Commission's works to enhance its performance. Olukoyede, who stressed that CSOs were one of the most critical allies of the EFCC and partnership between the two has been progressive and is still evolving. He further urged them to continue to align themselves with the progressive aspirations of Nigerians to reduce corruption completely or reduce it to the barest minimum. Speaking at the event, Deputy Director, Creative Engagements Wanyima Okeanu, in her speech, challenged CSOs to correct people's misconception about EFCC's anti-corruption activities by informing and educating people in their various communities to ensure Nigerians on the fight against corruption. Okeanu reassured members of the CSOs that the EFCC is open to the public, urging them to send their complaints and petitions using various channels of communication made available by the Commission. The CSOs, on their part, came up with suggestions in areas they believe the EFCC can explore. One of the arrowheads of the group, Dr. Rosemary Odigbo, stressed that all citizens and stakeholders must come together through strategic partnership to plan and win the war against economic and financial crime and corruption. Other members enjoined the Commission to explore other areas in sending the anti-corruption messages, such as working with those in the entertainment industry, collaboration with telecommunication organizations, frequent town hall meetings, creating and sustaining advocacy groups, among others. There were also discussions on how to incorporate corruption studies into schools' prospectus across the country. At the end of the interaction, the group came up with a communique to help strengthen the working relationship between the EFCC and the CSOs in the Ibadan Zonal Command.
In another development, the executive chairman of the EFCC, Ola Olukoyode, has called on youths across the country to embrace right value system by refraining from internet fraud-related crimes and other offences. He gave the charge when a delegation of students from Oloye Comprehensive College, Abuja, paid an educational visit to the corporate headquarters of the Commission in Jabi, Abuja. Chinonso Alexander Eni tells us more.
The chairman, who spoke to the Deputy Director, Creative Engagements, Wanyima Okeanu, stressed that anti-corruption fight is not for the EFCC alone, but a collective effort from everyone to make Nigeria great and help the EFCC achieve its mandate. He said the EFCC is for everybody because the fight against economic and financial crimes is a fight that touches everyone. He stressed that the nation needs to be cleansed to achieve the future we all crave for.
The nation needs to be cleansed. Young people like you all here are doing things that they should not be doing. Old people like me and some other people around, like your teachers, are doing things that they should not be doing. And so the things that we are doing that are not right is putting our country in the bad light.
Head Media and Publicity Unit of the Commission, Dele Oyewale, said right value systems by youth have great prospects of helping them to build resistance against crimes. He called on youth to redirect their focus from the existing negative value systems, such as the get-rich-at-all-cost value system, materialistic value system, and impunity to a more acceptable positive value system.
The value system that we have today in Nigeria, especially among youths, I'm going to identify some value system. Number one, there is the get-rich-quick value system. I'm talking about the existing one. And I'm going to talk about why we need to shift from that value system to a more functional, a more socially acceptable value system. Number one, there is the get-rich-quick syndrome, or the get-rich-quick value system.
On her part, Head Enlightenment and Reorientation Unit Aisha Muhammad called on the youth to be part of the anti-corruption fight, stressing that change begins with them. She stated that Nigerians' future is in their hands, therefore a lot is expected from them. In his paper presentation titled Concept of Cybercrime, Chief Superintendent of the EFCC, CSE Daniel Nwaka, expressed the need for the students to be cautious of cyberspace as crimes on the internet are on the increase. I am Chinonso Alexander Eni, reporting for the Eagle.
Business email compromise is a type of cybercrime where the scammer uses email to trick someone into sending money or divulging confidential information. The culprit poses as a trusted figure and asks for a fake bill to be paid or for sensitive data they can use in another scam. Business emails compromise scam are on the rise due to increased remote work. An online report has it that there were nearly 20,000 business email compromise complaints to the FBI last year. How do we stem this ugly tide flowing from the internet? Well, let us move to the interview segment where Golden Onwura is standing by with our guest, an expert in the field, to discuss the topic, business email compromise, how businesses are at risk. Over to you, Golden.
In recent times, cybercriminals have resorted to different means to defraud unsuspecting people. Apart from individuals being made to part with their hard-earned money, corporate organizations and government agencies are not left out, as some of them have lost huge sums of money to these fraudsters. Business email compromise is one of such criminal activities targeted at corporate organizations and their owners. Hello and welcome to the interview segment, and today we'll be discussing business email compromise and how businesses are at risk. I have with me a staff from the cybercrime section of the EFCC in the person of ASE1 Olaleko Philip Ogunjobi. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
What is business email compromise?
Business email compromise is a type of email scam in which adversaries, attacker, target business with the sole aim or goal to defraud the business. There are a couple of examples. Before I go into that, there are different meanings that have been adduced to business email compromise. Some people regard business email compromise as man in the middle attack or man in the email scam, in which an adversary which has a financial motive, the goal is just to make financial gain, target a company to defraud it, target the CEO of the company, target somebody working in the financial and account section, so that we'll be able to send money to a particular account controlled by the attacker.
How is this fraud perpetrated?
It's numerous. It goes beyond the company or the individual that might have fallen victim. Actually, it has a lot of impact on the society at large. Basically, I will just cite an example or make an illustration, because considering the impact of crime generally on the society, you discover that we have the emotional impact, we have the financial impact on the victim, and the national impact as well. For the emotional impact, this issue of trust. Somebody that he had been, probably somebody I've been working with for donkey years, sent me an email which I've been working on successfully all before now, and then something transpired. Somebody sent me an email believing that it was the same person that I've been communicating with, was the same person that sent me the email. I acted upon that, not knowing that it was a fraudster or an attacker that sent me the email. So as a result of this, it will be traumatizing to the employee. It will be traumatizing to the CEO, as the case may be. What about the corporation? Financially, their money is gone. The money has been moved. So this is huge. What about the national impact? Unfortunately, based on my personal observation, I discovered that most of the people carrying out these kind of crimes, 8 out of 10, always have Nigerian nexus, Nigerian connection. That's huge. It affects our image globally. Going out there, when you get to the airport, holding the green passport, Nigerian, a special screening indeed. It's huge.
From your explanation, this kind of crime is a syndicate activity. So who are involved in this chain?
Okay, they are into different stages, but personally I've categorized the whole thing into 4 stages. Basically, we have the first stage, the research stage. The second one, the preparatory stage. The third, the execution stage. And the last, the dissemination or the financial gain stage. For the research stage, here, the attacker, this time around, scout for organization profile, the organization they want to mimic, kind of, employees they want to mimic, kind of, though they look for the kind of profile, build the organization profile. And at this junction, that's what we call email listing or email harvesting. At the research stage, they look for the emails of the organization they want to target and look at the spellings. Okay, these are the spellings of their email. This is the pattern of their email. They will do all that. So moving to the next stage, preparatory stage. Here, they will now build a profile to look like the organization's whole. Here, they will probably register a domain, a lookalike domain, or find their way to gain access to a victim's account. When I mean victim, I mean probably somebody working in the financial department of the organization, or the CEO himself, or herself, as the case may be. Find a way to gain access to his email so that they can monitor it, because it is a conventional-based attack, kind of. So you won't be able to detect business email compromise using preparatory tools or probably the normal IT security tools. So it's a manual thing. So it's a conversational-based attack, kind of. So it takes a lot of training, learning or awareness, so to say, for one to be able to detect this. Then the third stage, the execution stage, you see, the attacker at this junction must have gained ground. He must have gotten his onions, knows his onions, know what to do exactly and how to do it. At this junction, they will now send a socially engineered email, impersonating the CEO of the company, impersonating probably somebody in the financial and accounting department, giving the bank the instruction, okay, wire this money to social account, to this very account, to this very number. And from the observation, you see the email are always compelling. There is always a sense of urgency. There's no need for you to ask questions. So as a result of that, we see company being defrauded. Then lastly, we have the financial gain, the dissemination stage. The money is gone. Money has been transferred to different accounts so that traceability will not be possible. And then you see them recruiting money mules to do conversions of the money from the normal stuff, probably dollars, naira as the case may be, then convert it to crypto. So that at least they will distance themselves from the proceeds of criminal activity, the attack I meant, basically. So these are what have been happening over and over. So basically, it is in the 4 stages. We have the research stage. We've got in the preparatory stage. They want to build out a profile that look like the company's own. The person they have been following, they want to impersonate someone. Then we have the execution stage. They've gained the ground. They've monitored the email. They are in the middle of the email. If you can recall, I did mention earlier that it is called man in the email scam, or man in the middle attack. Somebody is in the middle monitoring 2 persons' conversation, and they know the right time to strike. So after that, we have the execution stage, and then afterwards, we have the dissemination stage, which talks about the financial gain.
From your explanation, this kind of crime is a syndicate activity. So who are involved in this chain?
Okay, fine. I did mention 4 stages. We've gotten the research stage, the preparatory stage, the execution stage, and the dissemination stage. So for all these stages, there are people that specialize. They are group of, they are syndicates rather, having different skills. We have the pickers, those that deal with the movement of the money. We have the social engineers, so those that engage the victim. The CEOs, people working in the financial department, those that engage them, monitor their lifestyles, and then what have you. And then we got the email harvesters, those that get the email, find a way to get the email to the dark web for sale. So we have different people playing different roles at different stages, basically. So it's quite enormous. So they might be 3, they might be 4, they might be 5. And most of the time, the money move section, the dissemination stage, that's why they need a lot of persons. So they need people to move the money around for them. They need people to help them to launder the money, basically. They need people to help them to distance the money from the proceeds of criminal activities.
What is the EFCC doing to curtail this crime?
Oh, fantastic. So basically, I can say EFCC is working in 3 perspectives to combat this crime. Basically, number 1, we have education, we have seizing, and disruption. Education, what do I mean by education? In what sense? We educate ourselves as officers, we train ourselves to combat these crimes. We train our officers on techniques to how to assist the victim to combat these crimes. Secondly, we educate the populace the business owners, the individual, people working in the finance and account department on things to watch out for when they see this kind of stuff. We normally have honest conversation. Tell them, yes, this is the reality. Don't shy away from this fact. It can happen to anyone. So basically, we go out there, educate them, whichever we want to do it. That's why we have the public affairs department going out there, educating the people about this. Also, telling them about the consequence of anyone perpetrating this kind of crime, so that it can serve as deterrence as well. The other way around, seizure, whatever you must have made through the nefarious activities, I mean, the cybercrime, whichever one, including business email compromise, whichever one, whatever you must have made through that, we get it away from you, so that we can discourage you from doing that, and if need be, the person will be prosecuted. So it's case by case basis that will determine what happened basically. And we have the disruption. Again, at times we might have gotten a tip off that this is going on. We inform the organization, oh, like somebody has gained access to your mail. Could you change your password? Could you review this activity and see what is obtainable? We don't even wait, because prevention is better than, prevention is better than cure, kind of. So we use a preventive approach.
In the event someone is, convicted of this crime, what are the penalties?
Oh, it depends. Whichever offense the person is found culpable of, basically. For system interference, I think it's about 2 years imprisonment minimum, and a fine of 10 million naira or thereabout, if I'm not mistaken. And if anyone you find wanting for computer-related fraud, 5 years imprisonment or a fine of 10 million naira. That's huge. What about the money laundering aspect? 2 years. Or a fine of 10 million naira or 50 million naira for an individual found culpable. Corporate body, 25 million naira. That's huge. And even the license of the person that must have assisted, probably with the movement of the funds, moving money from point A to point B, B to C, C to D, as the case may be. I mean, the complicit meal. In particular, if anyone is found wanting as a corporate entity, we'll go in for it. That's huge.
Thank you very much. Just before we go, we would like to hear your last words.
Okay, basically, for my last word, it's quite disheartening, I must say. According to the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center, 2022, I think the financial loss accrued to business email compromise, I think was about 2.7 billion US dollars. That's enormous. And they got about 21,000 complaints related to business email compromise. And do you know the surprising thing? The figure doesn't reflect the actual thing we are combating or the actual thing we are saying, because for every business email compromise, it's that those guys doing that same thing. You see the element of romance scam. The same guy perpetrating business email compromise is also involved in romance scam, phishing scams as well. What about those figures? What are we doing about them? Contract scam. Fake employment, fake contracts. So there's this element of other fraudulent scheme embedded in this business email compromise. It's huge. And to really combat it, education is the key.
Individuals and corporate organizations must do everything within their powers to ensure that their emails are protected to avoid falling victim to this crime. Also, you can report any suspected case of business email compromise to the EFCC and be assured that justice will be done. That's it from the interview segment. I am Golden Onra. Back to you, Aisha.
That's how we end today's episode of The Eagle. Until we come your way again next week, same time, same station, with another interesting edition. Let's keep the conversation going by sending an email to info@efcc.gov.ng. You can also call us on 0809 3322644. Use the EFCC mobile app, The Eagle Eye, to report any fraud you see happening around you. You download the app, you follow the steps and report fraud on the go. You can also take pictures of corrupt practices happening anywhere around you and upload it. Also remember to join us every Wednesday evening at 6 p.m. on our web-based town hall meeting called EFCC Connect, where we answer your questions and note your observations of the anti-corruption fight in order to serve you better. I am Aisha Muhammad. Be patriotic, stand for integrity, and do the right thing always. Goodbye. God bless Nigeria. Please do stay safe, be kind to yourself and to others around you, and do enjoy the rest of the week.